Welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. Today's going to be a special one. Obviously, we're joined as always by Bethany and Barry. Welcome, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about Murph and how it's more than just a workout. We want to talk about the meaning behind it. We just finished up our Memorial Day Murph this past Monday. A lot of people know about it. They know that it's a workout, it's a hard workout, but they might not know the meaning behind it or like what Murph means, anything like that. So every Memorial Day, all over the country now, there's a lot of gyms that put on this workout called Murph, and we've been doing it for. I think I've done it about 7 years in a row now. So we started out just a small group of us, and then we started making it an event. I believe this last year was like our fifth annual Murph, maybe even our sixth annual Murph. You've been here for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Have you done it every single year?
Yeah, as long as we had it the first year I was here.
So it was maybe even our sixth year doing it. I'll have to go back and look. But anyways, it is basically a workout that is what's called a hero workout. We'll get into that, but it's not just something that you do on Memorial Day. It's to just remember and honor our fallen soldiers, and specifically Michael Murphy. So that's who it's actually about, which we'll get into. But gyms all over the country do it just to basically, in a very physical way, suffer a little bit to honor the people that have given our lives for our country and for their families, everybody that suffers on a daily basis. It's our way of showing our support and just taking some time to remember and honor in a very physical way. So we're going to kind of go through everything about Murph, what it is, who Michael Murphy is, how the workout got started and created. We want to touch on why it's a Memorial Day tradition. We're also going to talk about like the different variations, because it can't, like, everybody can do it and why everybody should consider doing it. We're going to talk about what the workout feels like, which is going to be fun. And then there's also some things that you can do to learn a little bit more about it. And so we're going to start out with what the actual Murph workout is. So like we said, Murph is a hero workout after Michael Murphy, who was a Navy SEAL that was killed in Operation Red Wings in Afghanistan in June 28th, 2005. So the workout is a 1 mile run followed by 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then another mile run. It's traditionally been done with a 20-pound vest or body armor. But obviously there's a lot of different scaling options and things like that. So the workout is very simple on paper. Like, it's body weight movements. You can almost do it anywhere as long as you have a pull-up bar. Mm-hmm. But it's not easy. Obviously there's running, there's a lot of strength, there's a lot of mental toughness, high repetition. But the point is basically to participate and basically honor his life and his sacrifice. It's not necessarily to be the fittest person in the world or like the fastest time or anything. It's just for the significance of that memory. So, how was it created, Bethany?
Yeah,
if you want to touch
I do
on
like
it.
this story.
Yeah,
so
this is really cool.
It wasn't created as a gym workout. That wasn't the intention with it. Murph was one of Lieutenant Michael Murphy's actual like training workouts that he did. He called it body armor because he would do it wearing his like armor plate or like a weighted vest. So he used it. I mean, he could do it pretty much anywhere as long as he had a pull-up bar or something that he could use to pull up onto. So after he was killed in Afghanistan, CrossFit posted the workout on August 18th, 2005, and renamed it Murph in his honor. And so then it started becoming a Memorial Day event because of the significance. It wasn't started as like, hey, we're going to do this every Memorial Day just because. Yeah, it wasn't just like, hey, we're going to market something to do for this day. It had real significance. And so since he would always use the body armor, that's why a lot of people do wear that, and that's why it's the quote unquote prescribed way to do it. So we're doing a workout that's connected to a real person, real story, and really honoring that sacrifice that he made.
Yep. Barry, do you want to kind of go into who Michael Murphy was?
Yeah, so he was a lieutenant and he was a Navy SEAL. He's from New York, and then during Operation Red Wings, he was killed. He exposed himself to enemy fire, trying to get service to what was it?
Basically, calling back
calling
up,
back
essentially,
up, yeah.
for his team.
And so just something that was very heroic. He got the Medal of Honor doing it. And that's a big reason why we do that workout is in remembrance of him.
Yeah.
But it's to go through that suffering that is nowhere near the amount that he suffered
Right.
to get that,
Yeah.
going through shots fired and things like that. So
Yeah, and it was supposed to be, from my understanding, it was supposed to be just a recon mission. There was only 4 of them out there in Afghanistan, and they were supposed to be basically getting surveillance and doing recon, and they got ambushed by like hundreds of enemies, and so they fought them off the best they could, and obviously they didn't have good surveillance, or not good surveillance, but signal or anything to call in backup. So Michael Murphy saw like a point of where if he could get to that point, he maybe would be able to get signal, and he basically knew he was going to take fire, but he did it anyways, and ended up getting back up. And then Marcus Luttrell is the survivor of that squad. So there's a squad of 4, 3 of them unfortunately were killed, and then Marcus Luttrell was the survivor. And something that I wanted to talk about, like if you did want to kind of learn a little bit more in depth, they actually made a movie called Lone Survivor, which is essentially the story that Marcus Luttrell tells about that whole mission. So it's literally that mission. Mark Wahlberg plays Marcus Luttrell, and Taylor Kitsch plays Michael Murphy. So it's really cool. I kind of want to watch it again. It's been a few years, especially because we just finished it, and really kind of experience like what they went through, which is neat. So how it became a tradition, like Bethany said, CrossFit announced it as their workout of the day back in 2005, just a couple months after he passed away. And it just slowly started gaining a lot of popularity. So around like 2007, a lot more CrossFit affiliates were starting to do Murph in their gyms on Memorial Day, getting their clients and members involved. And then it kind of just blew up from there. And they created a foundation in his name as well. So now when people sign up for Murph, you can sign up right through, they have like a website and everything. You pay your entry fee, you get a shirt, and then that gets donated to his foundation. We haven't done that. What we usually do is for our signups, we will donate it to a local veteran fundraiser or something like that, just to help out with military veterans, people have served, and things like that. But it's meant to be not just like that remembrance workout, but also to raise money and help, military families, veterans, soldiers, things like that, right? So why they do it on Memorial Day? Obviously, it's just because it's a great time to honor and take a moment to remember all the sacrifices that our military has made for our country to enjoy our freedoms. And this is just an excellent way to showcase that by doing this workout that he loved to do to train for Navy SEALs training. So he would do this, him and his, I guess you could call it friend or partner or whatever, as they were going through BUDS training for the Navy SEALs, they would do this workout to basically prepare for that Hell Week, they call it, which is 130 hours and you don't sleep. I mean, you just go through drills and training and stuff like that, and it's crazy what they have to go through. But they basically would do this workout to train for that, and it definitely does challenge you mentally. That's for sure. But so that's why we do it. We've been doing it for a few years. It brings people together. Some of us do that full workout. Some do it with a partner, which we just started offering for our second year. We do have beginner versions where we'll cut it in half and have a walk, half a mile, and ring rows instead of pull-ups, and box push-ups instead of regular push-ups. Even if you have to sit to a chair or a bench for the squats, you can do that. So the idea isn't, hey, let's go all do the hardest workout ever. It's, hey, how can we get a bunch of people involved for an amazing, event, amazing honor to our military and fallen soldiers, and just have that moment to kind of go through that suffering together to honor the suffering that they went through. So that's why we do it, and it really is for anybody. I mean, a lot of people are very intimidated about it. We had a few new people do it this year, and they talked about how nervous they were to do it, and it is kind of going to be nerve wracking. Like it should be hard. It should be something that makes you nervous, but at the same time, it is doable for everyone. You can suffer for 30, 45, 60 minutes. You would be okay. You don't have to wear a vest. You don't have to run. You don't have to do pull-ups necessarily. Like we said, we just want to kind of get people together. So some of those variations that we have are, the full on Murph, which we always usually partition the reps up. So some people look at like, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats. There's no way I could do that. Most of us break that up. So we do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats, and we do that 20 times, however long it takes, right? You just keep plugging away at it until you get it done with your mile run in the beginning and in the end. The partner version, we split that up. So you would alternate rounds. So if me and Bethany were partners, I'd do a round of 5, 10, 15. She would do a round of 5, 10, 15. That counts as 2 of the 20 rounds. So we only have to do 10 each. And then obviously we have the modified variation where you can still partner up, but maybe we do ring rows instead of the pull-ups, the modified push-ups, things like that.
Yeah.
Right. So really anybody can do it. And the reason that I wanted to do this podcast is because I wanted to educate people around the meaning behind it, because it might inspire a lot of you guys. Okay, maybe I can do this, and I can suffer and sacrifice and go through the pain for the meaning behind the workout. So Murph is not about proving how tough you are. It's about honoring the people who were tougher than we can imagine, really, and going through a lot of those sacrifices. So let's kind of talk about the workout, because I think it is important. And I think it's important because we want to actually embrace it rather than like try to avoid it, for the specific reason of this meaning behind the workout. So Barry, I think you would be a great candidate to talk about the pain of the workout or how it feels.
The Murph does suck every year. Every year I've done it, it always sucks. And you talk about like getting nervous to do it, and some people kind of were iffy on if they want to do it or not. But I'm nervous every year to do it.
Me too.
I feel like you guys are too. I mean, it's just one of those workouts that's like, it just sucks to do.
Yeah.
You're in so much pain during it, but not as much pain as any other military personnel would be if they're in the line of fire. So it's like thinking of them while you're doing it definitely helps a lot, and thinking to yourself that it's okay to suffer because they suffered way more than I ever will.
Yes.
For our freedoms. But anyway, like you said, it's a 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, another 1 mile run. It's probably the hardest workout you'll do all year. If you consistently go to the gym. It's definitely a hard one. The pain during it is intense. You start off with a 1 mile run. It's not bad, but then like you said, we do the 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15, and it gets so repetitive that you just fatigue so much. And then you get done with those 300 squats and you go back into another 1 mile run, and it's like you're walking. It's just
your legs get heavy. Your heart rate's up. You're sweating. It's definitely a mental toughness type of workout. But what I've done every year is, especially at the back half of the workout, like the first mile run, you come in, you feel pretty good, especially if you don't go too fast in the first mile. You can't win the workout at all if you go too fast in the first mile. You might suffer a little bit more, but getting from the run, you're feeling good. And then like kind of when you get a few rounds in, you start to get that fatigue. For me this year, my chest and triceps blew up. I ended up having to break up the push-ups after like 7 or 8 sets. And I was like, man, I got 12 more of these to do. This is going to be rough. But you just keep doing your best. You keep plugging away. You rest as needed, and you just keep pushing through. And then that last mile when you take off, like you said, like your legs are heavy, you're breathing hard, but that's where you just remind yourself of why we're doing it and the importance and the significance of the workout. And, okay, we're doing this for Michael Murphy and our military, everybody that has given their life for the country. So then it makes it way easier to keep plugging away for another few minutes, knowing that everything's going to be fine when you come back in and you can lay down on the ground and cool off. And then we enjoy a nice meal with everybody and high five and all that stuff and kind of celebrate the significance of the day.
Mhm.
So it definitely makes it a lot easier to push through that I literally, while I'm running, I'll be thinking about why we're doing it. And that just kind of keeps pushing you forward.
Mhm.
The other thing about the workout, though, is it really proves to people how much we're capable of. So I would say the majority of people really underestimate how much they can do
Yeah.
and what they're capable of,
What their body can.
what their body can handle.
Yeah.
And I was telling you after the race, like I'm reading a book by David Goggins, who, ironically, I just learned this. He was in the same Buds training, the Navy SEALs training Hell Week as Marcus Luttrell, who was the lone survivor of that squad. So I thought that was really cool. But David Goggins talks about like when we feel like we want to quit, we're at about 40-50% of our maximum capacity of what we're capable of. And so like when I was out there, my sides were cramping up. I was breathing heavy. When you have that vest on, it's really hard to breathe. Like it's compressing your chest. And I'm like, okay, I'm only at about 50%. I got way more in me. Just keep going. And it really does help push you forward. And you really can prove to yourself like what you actually are capable of. And we're capable of a lot more than we think. And a lot of people they do have that self-doubt of like, oh, there's no way I can do that. I can't do that. Like, I can't do this. And I think every single year, even with every workout we do, like people are always surprised like how it goes. Like, oh yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought, or like I can't believe I did that.
Mhm.
When we have 5Ks and stuff, it's like, oh, I ran way further than I was expecting. Stuff like that. So it is really cool moment as well to just kind of have that confidence builder and that accomplishment and that feeling of success. Like, oh man, I just did that.
Yeah. And
you always feel good after.
doing a hard workout or hard exercise almost for me has gotten rid of a lot of that self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, if I can do that Murph, then I can do something a lot harder than that because that's how hard that Murph was.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So at the end of the day, like we can all suffer for that 30 to 60 minutes to honor those who suffered and sacrificed for our freedom. So that's kind of what it's about. And as I mentioned earlier, there's that movie Lone Survivor. That's a good place to start. Like if you want to kind of learn more about that mission and Michael Murphy and that squad, starring Mark Wahlberg. It's a good movie, so definitely recommend watching that. And then just kind of like the bigger lesson of it, as we already mentioned, but Murph reminds us that hard things matter. Reminds us that we're capable of more than we think. Reminds us that community helps us push through. I definitely would not want to do it by myself. Like that would be way harder. But when you're doing it and you're surrounded by 20 other people who are also suffering and sweating and breathing hard and struggling, it's like it makes it so much easier to actually push through and do it. And that's what it's become is just this massive community event all over the country, which is really cool. It reminds us that freedom has a cost. So there's been a lot of sacrifice and loss to have this life that we have, right, in this country. Reminds us that fitness can be used for something bigger than ourselves as well, which is really cool. Bringing the community together and bringing people together for a common cause or something bigger than ourselves, which is cool. So for us, at Thumb Out the Fitness, we want to build a stronger, healthier community. Murph is just one of those events that brings that mission to life. It brings together fitness, purpose, gratitude, community, and remembrance, right? So anything else that you guys want to say on the Murph workout? How did it go for you this year, Beth?
For me, I did a partner workout with Katie with it. I will say you get pretty locked in doing it with a partner. It is nice to be able to do that together because you can kind of feed off of each other that way. The runs we still kind of ran by ourselves. I guess I ran with Kat the first little bit, so you have other people to kind of pace with. But it's always the last mile because that's when things either start to cramp or you have to like will yourself to keep running instead of walk or like, you know, no matter, sometimes it's like you have to because it hurts that bad, but like you can always keep moving forward. It doesn't mean you have to stop. Same thing. It just makes me think of like the long runs, like the races that are super long distance, like doing those is just like the mental of like I can always keep moving forward and like knowing that like stopping's not an option.
Yep.
Of like I will keep going and I will finish this no matter how slow I jog.
Yep.
You know, no matter how long it takes me, it's like you know that you're gonna do it. And so like with that mindset is just like okay, like I know I'm gonna be able to do this and come out on the other side and yeah. I'd say that's the biggest thing. It's just that last mile, the mental part of like your body is just like fighting against you, and it feels like you're encased in concrete. 'Cause like your arms are just so blown up. So it's like your arms can barely move, and then like your core is just like you can feel that from the push-ups and the pull-ups and like breathing hard. So like you're getting side stitches, and you're like just trying to keep your legs moving as best you can after doing so many squats. And it's just definitely something that you've never really experienced in any other workout before.
What did I say? I was coming up on my second run, and I was not even a quarter of a mile. I was right behind Bethany. I was maybe 50 yards or 100 yards.
There was somebody walking, probably just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like all these people look like they're dying and like they're running. And she said something asked what you were doing.
She's like, what are you doing? Walk for life? I don't know what she said. I was like, Murph. I couldn't even hardly get it out. And then very quickly after that, I was like, oh God, or something like that.
Yeah, as you said. And I was like, oh.
I ended up having to walk just for a minute because I was both sides cramped right up.
I like looked back and I was like, he doesn't look like he's doing so hot. And so I just kept going.
But like you said, like, all right, I walked for a little ways and then I was like, okay, just start nice and slow, started running again. And then I just kept reminding myself, telling myself, hey, it's one more step or just one step at a time and just keep going.
Yep.
And did. So, yeah. So hopefully, this helps you guys learn a little bit more about what the workout's all about. Next Memorial Day, we plan on doing it for the foreseeable future every year. We want to continue to grow this and get more people involved. So whether you're a beginner or a veteran, whether you work out a lot or not, this is for anybody. It isn't going to be easy, but it's not really meant to be. It's not to impress anybody. It's just to show up, remember, honor, and suffer a little bit for 30, 45, 60 minutes. That's what it's all about. So hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you want to learn more, just feel free to reach out and ask us, and hopefully we'll see you next year at the Murph. So until next time, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.